Hello guys, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today, Monday the 26th of July. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend and you've got a great trading week ahead. So 3D market commentary is where we are going into three separate elements of 5 major world markets. So I'll go through that in a second. Just before we start, I need to make sure that I'm covering the disclaimers. Now, of course, important for you guys to read disclaimers, not just for legal reasons, but also to understand that these kind of videos are demonstrations and do not indicate the results you may receive. You can, of course, ignore the demonstration, you can take it on board or something in between. Ultimately, up to you as a trader to decide. So my name's Becky, obviously my face is here, my picture is there as well. My email address is becky@tradictive.com. There's also support@tradictive.com, so you can get hold of us if you have any questions through those email addresses. Now there's also, if I just bring it up here, there's also tradewithufos.com/Becky. If you go here, you can set yourself up with a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top there, and then you can scroll down once you've got it and ask a question here in a public setting. The good thing about doing that is then other people see the questions and other people see the answers. So it helps us to be, of course, a lot more helpful to the community as a whole if we can have questions and answers out in public for everybody else to see. So you can do that if you feel comfortable to do so. From this link as well, you can also book one-on-one coaching if you like to with me. Okay, so 3D market commentary, let's bring it up. Now we send out an email every day, Monday to Friday, that has this information on. So if you get those emails, we do these videos just to expand on them a little bit, explain them a little bit so that you understand exactly what it means, what this information means. So hopefully this helps. So we call it a 3D approach because we look at 3 separate elements. First things first is upcoming market direction. Is the market going up? Is the market going down? Where do we have probabilities? If we have probability up, perhaps we should look to buy. If we have probability down, then perhaps we should look to sell. If we don't have enough probability either way, we should probably do nothing. And so we use a piece of technology here to help us with this, to help us figure out what we should be doing, and it's called AutoClimate. AutoClimate is a free app. You can download it for free on most of the platforms that it's available on. And with AutoClimate, if we just ignore the lines for now and just focus on the dots, we use this to help us figure out whether or not we should buy, sell, or do nothing. If it's a thick blue dot, that tells us we have probability upwards, meaning we should probably look to buy. If it's a thick red dot, then we have probability downwards, we should probably look to sell. If it's a thin dot of either colour, slightly harder to see, but that's kind of the point. If it's a thin dot, that tells us not enough probabilities either way, do nothing. And so that look at that per market. Then we want to look at our buy and sell UFOs. UFO stands for unfilled order, and essentially what it's showing us is where are the buyers and where are the sellers. That helps us answer our second question, which is if we're going to buy, where do we buy? If we're going to sell, where do we sell? And we want to buy where there's lots of other buyers. So we look for these green UFOs. Those show us where the buyers are, and it gives us the prices on the right hand side telling us where those buyers are. Now, if we're going to buy, if we buy with other buyers, we're much more likely to see price go up. The only way price can go up is if there's more buyers than sellers. The only way price can go down on anything is if there's more sellers than buyers, in which case we want to sell where there's lots of other sellers. Hopefully that makes sense. We're using an app here again to help us figure out where exactly we should be buying and selling, where we have the most probability that it's going to work in our favour. Then we want to understand volatility, essentially how quickly are these markets moving? What can we expect in terms of movement? So we'll look at each of these 3 elements per market, and we're looking at 5 major world markets. So we'll start with the S&P. The S&P 500, which is essentially we are looking at a futures contract for the S&P 500. If you don't know what that means, we are looking at a representation of US stocks. That's all you need to know. So with US stocks at the moment, we have a confirmed upwards climate. So we have a thick blue dot here on our AutoClimate. That tells us probability to the upside. We should probably look to buy. Now, usually this market would go up for 8.8 candles. I'm going to round that up to 9. So it usually goes up for 9 candles on this time frame. It's on a daily chart, by the way. And we're on candle number 3 to the upside, which means based on what usually happens, we still have room for it to continue to the upside. Now, in terms of buy and sell UFOs, we have buy orders just beneath us here at 4371.50 to 4341.50. So overall here, probability upwards. We've got buy orders beneath us, we've got climate to the upside, we've got room based on what usually happens. Everything's lining up there for probability upwards. Now notice I say probability upwards, not definitely going to move upwards. We need to make sure that, of course, we are managing our risk, and you may also have other variables that you look at in order to decide whether or not you would be taking a trade. But in terms of probabilities, we do have probability upwards here for the S&P. Now, in terms of volatility, we expect that in a year it would move up or down of 18.31%. That means in a day, a movement up or down of 50.68 points. In a week, it's 111.57 points up or down. And in a month, it would be 232.25 points up or down. So that's the S&P. Now let's move on here to the next market, which would be oil. Just gonna reduce this a little bit, if I can, she says. Okay, I can't. Don't know what's happening there. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than usual, but perhaps that's easier for you guys, means you can see what we're doing. So if we have a look here at oil, there we go. In the meantime, it says here about courses that we offer. You can check out the courses that we offer: futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans, and psychology. A lot of them come with 3-month complimentary access to the apps. Like I said, AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms that you can get it on. You can subscribe directly to AutoUFOs if you want to as well. You can check that out, and depending on which platform you use depends on the cost, so check that out as well. Now for oil, we have an unconfirmed climate. See, it says there confirmed no. We have a thin dot here. It doesn't matter what the color of the dot is. If it's thin, then it's telling us it's not enough probabilities either way. It's not confirmed, it's not probable. So if we don't have probabilities, we don't want to trade. We want to change time frame, we want to change market. There's no point placing a trade where we at least don't have some form of probabilities either way. So in this case, we would change and move away from this. Now we do have buy UFOs here at 67.61 to 65.01. So if price were to come down and hit the stack of buy orders, we'd expect it to go up, but it's a little way from us at the moment. So overall with oil there, not enough probabilities either way on a daily chart. Now with volatility, we'd expect that in a year it would move up or down of 34.05%. In a day, that means 1.54 points up or down. In a week, 3.38 points up or down. And in a month, 7.04 points up or down. So that is oil. Moving on now to the next market, which is gold. And it says there in the meantime about coaching and support. Of course, we do a lot of coaching and support for free on channels such as YouTube and Facebook, LinkedIn, loads of other places that we do our coaching and our sessions, such as this one, accessible for free. We also have a closed coaching community where you'd get access to more of our time in a closed environment, if that suits you. Otherwise, like I said, of course, there's lots around for free that can help you. So with gold, we have a confirmed downwards climate, thick red dot there, probability to the downside. Usually, gold would go down for 6.26 candles. I'm going to round that up to 7, just because you can't have a percentage of a candle, right? So I'm going to round it up always. So 7 candles it would usually go down for, and we're on candle number 3. So that tells us that we have probability that it continues down based on what usually happens. Now we also have UFOs helping us out with that assessment as well, because we have sell orders here. The closest ones are 1820.6 to 1804.4, and we're kind of just underneath them. They've already worked a little bit to push price down and push price down and push price down. Not by a lot, but they have still been working to lower price. So we've got sell orders close to us in the context of an environment where we have probability to the downside, which is really good. We have buy orders really far away relatively at 1652.8 to 1624.4. So overall here again, probability down for gold. Now with volatility, we'd expect in a year movement up or down of 14.53%, which in a day is 16.56 points up or down. In a week, that's 36.45 points up or down. And in a month, that's 75.87 points up or down. And that is gold. So moving on to the next market here, which is going to be the US dollar. Now the US dollar, I say all the time, it's responsible for about 80% of transactions worldwide daily. So be aware of it. Even if you don't trade it, it's going to impact the other markets that you probably trade. So with the dollar, we have a confirmed upwards climate, thick blue dot, probability upwards. Now what we do need to be aware of with the dollar here is that it usually goes up for 5 candles, so I just rounded that up, and we're on candle number 9 to the upside. So that tells us that we have surpassed what is normal. We have surpassed what would be a usual move to the upside, which means we might be looking more likely to see a price turn. Now we also have sell UFOs that help us out with that assessment as well. We have sell orders just here at 93.47 to 93.005. They already worked. Price came in, was pushed down. Price came in, was pushed down. That's what we expect sell orders to do, is push price down. That's why we use the AutoUFO app to tell us where those sell orders are. So we have sell orders pushing price down right now. But we also have buy orders really close by, just here at 92.42 to 92.075. They've worked. Price came in, pushed it up. Price came close to it, pushed it up. That's what we expect buy orders to do, is push price upwards. So we've got sell orders pushing price down, buy orders pushing price up. We've got a climate pushing upwards, but it's overextended. So overall, to me, you've kind of got a tick in a box on either side. I would leave it. I would see who wins, change market, change time frame. To me, no need to trade where I don't have a clear sign that I have probabilities going in a particular direction. And at this point in time with the US dollar, a fight is going on. I'd rather keep out of it. So with market volatility with the dollar, we would expect movement up or down in a year of 6.24%. That means in a day, 0.36 points up or down. In a week, 0.8 points up or down. And in 1 month, 1.67 points up or down. So that's the US dollar. Moving on to the last market, which is backed Bitcoin. Again, as I load this, you can see here, you can self-schedule a clarification call if you have questions with us about memberships, apps, courses, what's going to be best for you, if anything. So you can self-schedule a clarification call if you'd like through that. Okay, so Bitcoin, we've seen a very sharp shot to the upside. That was a bit of alliteration there, didn't plan that. We've seen it move to the upside. We have a thick blue dot, confirmed probability to the upside. Now, Bitcoin is not yet old enough for us to know what usually happens on a daily time frame. We don't have enough data points to say this is what happens usually, this is not what happens usually. So for the time being, we're in the dark with that, but what we do know is we've seen this shoot up to the upside. Now we have buy orders here at 27,782.5 to 22,910. We also have sell orders up here at 51,782.5 to 46,807.5. And we're kind of in the middle here. So the thing that's really pushing up is the climate. So for the time being now, overall probability to the upside there with Bitcoin. Now in terms of volatility, we'd expect in 1 year movement up or down of 85.28%, which means in a day, 2,055.51 up or down. In a week, 4,525 even up or down. And in a month, 9,419.54 up or down. So a bit more volatile than the others, bear that in mind. Okay, so just having a look at our economic calendar, speaking about volatility. If you go to fxstreet.com/economic-calendar, you can have a look at the scheduled news reports that are due to come out within the next week or 2 weeks. You filter it by what you want. We've looked at the next week for us to see which scheduled news reports may have a big impact on particular markets and therefore might increase volatility. Volatility is not a good or bad thing. It depends how you see it. You might embrace volatility, you might avoid volatility. So you can use this to kind of help you figure out what your plan might be for the next week or so, or day, depending on how you trade. So for example, today being Monday, we have nothing coming out on Monday today that could impact most major markets. Tomorrow, this is all in Eastern time. So tomorrow we've got news coming out on the Japanese yen, the US dollar and the Australian dollar throughout the day. Japanese yen would be early morning US time. US dollar news would be just as the markets open US time, and Aussie dollar news would come out in the evening US time. So be aware of that. If you trade stocks in those countries, if you trade those currencies, you might need to be aware of that. Any other questions, guys? You can obviously email me, becky@tradictive.com. And then of course, there's also this tradewithufos.com/Becky, which is this link here. You can set yourself up with a free Trade with UFOs membership. You can book one-on-one coaching if you'd like. and then you can come down here, ask a question in public, I can then answer it in public. Everybody learns from the same thing. So I will be back on Thursday for another market commentary. My colleague Boyan will be taking it tomorrow and Wednesday, so have fun with him. I'll see you, I'm sure, on other sessions throughout the week on YouTube and things like that. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great trading week, guys, and I will see you soon.